What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. Now today we're going to be doing the first video of 3 in the build up to the final Dublin derby of the season between Shamrock Rovers and Bohemians at the Tallaght Stadium next Friday. It's going to be a huge game. I'm expecting a full packed out stadium. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere, so if you haven't already, make sure to go get some tickets for the game. There's nothing better than being at the game yourself, seeing it live, seeing some absolutely outstanding players on display in a really high pressure game towards the end of the season. It's the last one of the year as well, so you might as well get it in before the season ends. But in today's video, we are going to be talking about a certain Bohs player. We're going to be looking at a player from Bohemians in this video. We said we might as well go with the winners first. They've won all 3 Dublin derbies so far this season. So we said we'll start off with Bohemians for this video. We'll move on to Shamrock Rovers for the next video. Pick out a star man from them and talk about him. And then we'll wrap it all up with a preview and prediction video just before the game on Friday night. So yeah, lots of content coming up on the channel this week for the Dublin derby. If you don't want to miss a single thing, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with every single video we release. You will not want to miss a single one, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, and yeah, let's jump right into the video. Now the main man I've picked out from Bohemians is 20-year-old attacking midfielder Daniel Mandroiu, who has thrived in this new look Bohemians midfield this season, even keeping out the likes of seasoned pro Keith Ward in the process. Daniel began his schoolboy career with St Kevin's Boys, who have actually now developed an underage partnership with Bohemians. He joined Brighton and Hove Albion's youth academy in 2014 at just 15 years old, very young for a player to leave their family and go to a new country to play football. Very brave decision from him. It didn't quite work out from there. He spent 4 years there, played a lot of times for under 23 side, and never really quite made the breakthrough he would have liked into the first team. It was always going to be difficult to break into a Brighton side full of international regular players who are playing in the highest level of club football. Unlike other Irish youngsters at Brighton and Hove Albion such as James Tilley and Aaron Connolly, who actually went out on loan, Daniel Mandroiu made a permanent move to Bohemians in December of 2018. And what a decision it has turned out to be for the young man. Aged just 20 years old, he won the SSE Electricity Player of the Month award for June. And you might think, oh, it's just one good month, but this was absolutely no fluke, as he has finished runner-up in the 2 previous months. He has provided a really serious goal threat from midfield for Bohs this season, something that maybe been lacking in previous years. He's already hit double figures in the league with 10 goals. He's such a danger from set pieces as well. He takes a really good free kick and also has a really good penalty on him, so we'll touch back on that later on. He featured for 45 minutes in the friendly for Bohemians against Chelsea in Frank Lampard's first game in charge, and he really stood out in that game, playing against internationals such as Kurt Zouma, Ethan Ampadu, really high quality players, and he really stood out, which has since led to a lot of reported interest from championship sides. His form for Bohemians this season must be begging the question back in Brighton of whether they were a little bit hasty in getting rid of him. Daniel has proved on many occasions this season that he thrives in the big games. He doesn't let big pressure situations get to his head, really stays calm and collected, and that's a really remarkable trait for such a young man. He has dug Bohs out of a few holes this season. He has the ability and raw talent to grab a game by the scruff of the neck, and has really gained some valuable points for Bohs this season. The first one that comes to mind is the absolutely outstanding free kick away at St Patrick's Athletic to grab a valuable point. Let's take a look.
We know what Mandroiu can do, and he does it again! Fabulous free kick by one of Bohs' best players. Perfection!
Some goal. That level of technique is not something you see in the league very often. He has stepped up massively in Bohs' biggest games this season, which are the 3 Dublin derbies. Bohs have obviously won every single one of them, and Mandroiu has played a big part. He played really well in the first 2 games that ended in 1-0 wins for Bohemians, but it's the last and most recent one where he stood out the most. What impressed me most about him was that he actually missed a penalty early on in the game, and it would have been so easy for him to hide, go missing. It's really easy for a young player to do that when it's 0-0 in a huge game like that. They make a mistake, they're so in fear of making another mistake that they can go into hiding a little bit. But Mandroiu was the complete opposite. Bohs fortunately won another penalty soon afterwards, and there wasn't a second thought in his mind about whether he'd be taking the penalty or not, rifling past Alan Manners to give Bohemians the lead. In the second half, Rovers equalised early on, and looked the more threatening side and more likely to score. That was until the 60th minute when Daniel Mandroiu picked up the ball 25 yards out and rifled a left foot shot into the top right corner, winning all 3 points for the North Dublin side.
Long Allardyce with the header. Here is Mandroiu. That kind of position. Oh, what a goal! Look in front.
Just as I said, they were dick.
But you won't see a better goal like that from that in any league. Foot around this and pings it into the top corner. What an angle that is to see it.
Wow, just wow, what a goal. I could get more and more examples, but the final one we're going to look at is the recent game against Shelbourne in the FAI Cup. Bows were trailing 2-0 at home to their North Dublin rivals with 5 minutes to go. They were staring down the barrel of an embarrassing defeat against a team from the league below. That was until Keith Buckley pulled one back in the 85th minute, and then it turned into the Danny Mandroiu show once again, scoring 2 goals in the final few minutes to win the game and win the cup tie for the club, giving the fans a night to remember.
Pick up the rebound. Looks up and sees Mandroiu. Mandroiu might fancy a shot here. Danny Mandroiu! 2-2! 2 minutes to go.
An interesting headline I saw about Daniel Mandroiu was actually from Oisin McQueen's from Pundit Arena, who said, "Go and watch Danny Mandroiu while you can, he is a special talent." He went on to say that he's the type of player that Irish football is screaming out for, and you should really go out and see him while he's still playing on your doorstep, and I agree with every single word he said. It is clear he is a special talent, and one who will most likely be moving back across the pond in the near future, but Bows have actually tied him down on another year's contract, which is a fantastic piece of business from the club. This means that even if at the end of the season and Danny Mandroiu is to leave the club, it will be for a fairly hefty transfer fee, which is something that Bows have struggled with in the past. Losing their top talent on free transfers upon the expiry of their contracts has been a big thing for them, even last season with the likes of JJ Lunny and stuff like that, and season before that Ishmael Akinade. These are types of players that they could have been getting transfer fees for, young promising talents, and they've secured Danny Mandroiu on another year's contract. It was a really good piece of business. Quick question for the comments section down below: how much do you guys think Daniel Mandroiu is worth in this current market? But finally, Danny Mandroiu, as he has proved on many occasions this season, will have a huge part to play in the outcome of the Dublin derby in Tallaght this Friday night. And Bows will be hoping he can lead them to a 4th win of the season against Shamrock Rovers, which is a really big ask as the game is in Tallaght, but it is a challenge that Mandroiu and this young, hungry Bows team will relish. Well guys, what did you make of Daniel Mandroiu this season? Let me know in the comments below. Our next video will be on the player I've picked from Shamrock Rovers as the player I think will have a huge impact on the derby this coming Friday. And as I said, after the Shamrock Rovers video, we will also have a preview and predictions video coming out. So I hope you really enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please drop a like on it. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content coming up this week and in the future, lots of exciting stuff coming up, make sure to hit that subscribe button.